What's up, poker players? Hope you guys are out there crushing the tables. Today we're going to take a look at some more reports that you can do within Hold'em Manager, including the multi-table report and c-bet reports. First report we're going to take a look at is the multi-table report. Right here, click that. We'll make it start from after the 100K challenge. And here is the multi-table report. It shows you how well you're doing with how many tables you have open. So I've definitely gone over 20 tables at a time, but I believe when I did do that, it was tournaments only because there's only a limited amount of cash games that you can play, at the lower stakes on America's Card Room. So the most cash games that I had going at one time was 20 tables, and you can see the net one and the win rate that you are currently at for those. So right now we can see that I have less hands for these high amounts of tables. It looks like during most sessions I usually have between 14 and 10 tables going, and it looks like that is where I am getting my highest win rates at. So maybe that's what I am most used to playing, is somewhere in that range. I do have high win rates at 20 and 19 tables, but those have a very, very small sample size, so I don't think we can take that into consideration. I've done pretty well at 18 tables and not so well at 17 tables. Maybe this is just an enigma and will work its way out as I get more volume at 17 tables. 15 tables is also pretty low, but it seems like for the most part I've done pretty well in there. What is unusual though is from 7 tables and lower, I have not done that well at all. Again, these are pretty small sample sizes here, but we get up towards 5,000 plus at 6 tables and I'm not doing that well. So maybe when I'm 6 tabling, I'm trying to make some moves that I wouldn't usually make. Maybe I'm thinking too much at the lower limits, and maybe I should stick to just an ABC game at the lower limits and not make thinking type plays when it seems that I have less time to react and make gut poker plays, what is ingrained within my poker game. It seems like I've done really well with the multi-table report. So maybe I should just stick to my immediate reads and play the game that I'm completely used to, and maybe I should even start playing more tables. Once I move up in limits, I'm sure that I will. But this is one great way to track how you do once you start multi-tabling and if it's really affecting your game a lot. If for some reason as you start multi-tabling and start adding more tables, your win rate starts to drop, maybe you're not ready to start putting in crazy high volume with a bunch of tables open at one time. Maybe you should just stick to it and slowly work your way up. And as you adjust to having more and more tables and reacting quicker, thinking less, then you can slowly add tables in incrementally. But this is something you should definitely look at and learn about your own poker game so that you can play for situations that are best for your win rate and for your bank account. The next report we're going to take a look at is c-bet success. And this is something you should look at because a lot of hands are going to come down to c-bets and whether you're successful at c-bets, where you should c-bet, when you should c-bet, how many opponents you can c-bet against, and this portion of your game is going to dramatically affect your win rate on the tables. So if we look at the rainbow flop texture, and an ace high and a king high are going to be the best spots to c-bet because those two are scare cards, and you're going to get pairs less than that to fold a lot of the times when you do c-bet if you can represent those hands. And when you get a board like this and you do have an ace or a king that connects with this board, you might want to slow down and slow play it because your high c-bet success rate. And as you move down lower and lower, the c-bet success rate is also going to fall. And also in the same way, with more people seeing a flop, your c-bet success rate will also decrease. This is a report that requires quite a bit of total hands. You need a very large sample size in order to get some really accurate numbers here. You can see with 3+ players seeing the flop, I probably only have a very small amount of hands that fit this qualification. One thing that I immediately notice when looking at my c-bet and c-bet success rate is that it seems to me that I'm c-betting quite a bit with jack high and 10 high boards on a rainbow flop and hardly getting it to work very often. So unless I'm betting for value a lot of the time here, I probably should slow down on my c-bets. Let's take a look at a c-bet c-bet that did not work successfully on a 10 high rainbow board. In this hand, we have king queen in the big blind. We have a limp from the hijack seat. Folds around to us. I make it 250 to go. I realize that this player is a fish and has fishy numbers so far, and we can see that he is very fishy with that call he makes pre-flop right there. Right here, this is a tough spot because, I mean, we only have 12 hands on this player, but we do see that he has folded 0% of the time on the flop, turn, and river, so c-bet is probably not going to work against this type of player. Maybe it's best to just try to showdown with a king high against a fish like this. So I think that is definitely a mistake right there, that c-bet. Although I do really like that turned king. That makes me feel good about my hand. So I do bet it again on the turn. And he does make a call, but winds up hitting his straight on the river. And I get it all in. He is not going to fold here. Not going to put him on 5-3 very often right there. That is one of those hands that really fucking hurts, but you love to get in against because this type of player is going to be losing so much money to you in the long run. And without plays like this, poker would not be as successful and lucrative as it is. So you really want to see players make plays like this, and once in a while see players hit plays like this, because you know that you will be cleaning up on this type of player in the long run. Although I do think that this c-bet spot right here is a big mistake against a player who does not fold ever. Here's another spot where I am c-betting quite often. Two-tone, jack-high board, and very low success rate. So I think I'm making some mistakes in this spot as well. Alright, here's one where I could be making a big mistake on it. I have ace-queen, under the gun +2. I make it 3x to see a flop, and we get called by Salasso in the big blind. Flop is two-tone, jack-high, pretty draw-heavy board. His fold to c-bet is 56%, which isn't terrible. I do have quite a bit of outs here, so I don't think this is a terrible spot. Backdoor flush draw, 2 overcards, king to the Broadway straight. I think this is an okay board to bet on. What do you guys think about this one? I tried to find a spot where it was pretty easy to pick out, but I don't think this one quite qualifies for it. I think this is borderline good. Could be a mistake. Let me know in the comments. I get check raised and make a fold here. I think that fold actually could be a mistake. I think maybe I should have seen that flop, although on check raise boards he does win 67% of his check raises at showdown, so I think he's probably only check raising very strong hands here. Maybe hit a set of 5s, or he just had king queen and was betting his draw strong like that. That's an interesting spot though. Let me know what you guys think. Alright, here's a good one. I have ace queen in the cutoff, and we have a limp from under the gun +2. I isolate to 5x. We get a call from the big blind, and we get a call from the limper. So we have 2 players see the flop. On the jack high board, two-tone, 2 players see the flop, 32.1% success rate. So this is probably not the board that you want to c-bet on. Maybe just try to showdown with your ace high. Where's my c-bet? I thought this was a c-bet. Delayed c-bet? Well, that didn't really work out the way I wanted it to. Alright, here's a good spot where I have ace queen in the small blind. We have a hijack seat raise and a button call. I 3-bet with ace queen. We get a call from the original raiser, Mr. Penguin 2. He's in position against us. Jack high board, two-tone. A lot of the hands that 3-bet pre-flop from my 3-bet percent is going to be premium type hands, or the complete opposite if I am playing a polarized range in this spot. And you can see that this board connects with none of my range, so a c-bet is not going to work against a regular type player who is thinking along those lines. I do, however, c-bet, and he makes a quick call. The turn is a 10, gives me some more outs, but if I wanted to represent a strong hand here like I did, slowing down is not the way to do it. I think that just tells him I completely missed this board, and he comes out and fires a good 2/3 pot size bet, a little bit smaller than 2/3, and he's gonna pick up this pot right here when I fold. So I think that is a big mistake, and you should definitely be looking at this portion of your game, because I think you can learn a lot about where you're making mistakes in your post flop play. And when you're making mistakes in your post-flop play, you're going to be losing quite a bit of money because that's where the bigger pots are played. So definitely check this out. See where you're c-betting a lot and what your success rate is. When you have a jack or a 10 high board and it's a two-tone board and maybe you're thinking about slow playing it, maybe you shouldn't because of these low success c-bet percentages, and maybe you should slow play your big hands on the ace and king high boards. But if you completely miss your flop and are trying to pick up hands, ace, king high, queen high boards are going to be the way to go. So these reports can be done in Hold'em Manager as well as Pokertracker. If you guys do not have those programs yet, they are down in the video description. Click those links, try out these programs. They are completely worth it. I believe each one has a free trial period that you can get through the links below. Hit that subscribe button if you have not done that yet. Give the video a thumbs up if you like it, and I'll be back very soon with a new video. But until next time, you guys, I'll see you out on the virtual felt.